more news stories for you. Firstly, U.S. Special Envoy to the Horn of Africa, David Satterfield, who is due to arrive in Ethiopia, is expected to quit, viewers. Reportedly, he has decided to quit. Why? Because we know that he was appointed just 3 months ago. I think he was appointed in January. Before that, Jeffrey Feltman left. Now David Satterfield is due to quit. Why is that? He is U.S. Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa. He was mainly focusing on Sudan and Ethiopia. Was he frustrated with Sudanese and Ethiopian players to the conflict? Secondly, viewers, National Movement of Amhara's Nama party has released a statement in response to a statement by Oromo Federalist Congress OFC Jawar Beklegarba party, which spoke 2 days ago. What is Nama saying? And lastly, we have a new story about a secret force of Oromo Liberation Army. Reportedly, OLA has a secret wing which has started its operations in different parts of Oromia. What is this secret wing about? What are the objectives of the activities of this secret wing? How does it operate? In which areas of Oromia is it operating? Firstly, viewers, David Satterfield is U.S. Special Envoy to the Horn of Africa. He was appointed in January this year as Special Envoy. Before David Satterfield, Jeffrey Feltman was working as U.S. Envoy to the Horn of Africa, who worked for less than a year. And then David Satterfield was appointed. But David Satterfield has decided to quit, reportedly, though he is to travel to Ethiopia in coming hours. He is due to arrive in Ethiopia, which seems to be his last visit. So he is on his last visit to Ethiopia in coming hours. Why is he resigning? Why is he quitting? Question is because this is the third. This would be third U.S. Envoy to the Horn of Africa in around 4 months. We know that China has also appointed a special envoy. Zui Bing is working for the Horn of Africa. Why is U.S. envoy keep on leaving the job? What we have heard, viewers, is that U.S. envoys are frustrated with Sudanese and Ethiopian players. Two main conflicts in the region are Sudan and Ethiopia's Tigray conflict. Sudanese political conflict and Ethiopian armed conflict. These were the center of attention of the U.S. special envoys. But in both Sudan and Ethiopia, players of the conflict, they have very rigid positions. There is very less room for diplomacy. And it is difficult to advance U.S. interests in this region because in a conflict, there are several parties. So without taking sides, it's difficult to play a constructive role in both Sudan and Ethiopia. These envoys, obviously, they want to resolve conflicts, but their most important job is to advance U.S. interests in this region. But can you advance U.S. interests in Ethiopia or in Sudan without taking sides while being neutral? It's a difficult job. It's a very difficult job. So this challenge, it seems, was too much, and that is why second envoy is due to leave in coming days. Though during David Satterfield's tenure, some progress has been made. We know that the truce was announced, and now Tigray forces are withdrawing from afar. Some progress has been made toward the resolution of the conflict in Tigray. But at the same time, we are seeing that China and Russia, they have increased their influence in this region. We saw during General Assembly voting about Ukraine-Russia conflict that Horn of Africa countries, African countries, they mostly backed Russia. They opposed, they abstained from resolutions condemning Russian attack on Ukraine. So China and Russia both are expanding their influence in the Horn of Africa. US is finding it difficult to advance its interests in this region. That is how we can sum up this development. Secondly, viewers, national movement of Amhara's Nama political party based in the Amhara region of Ethiopia, which contested last year's election as opposition party, but it's part of the government. It has released a statement. The statement has been released in response to a statement by an Oromia political party, Oromo Federalist Congress, OFC, which spoke 2 days ago. 2 days ago, OFC in its statement condemned attacks on Oromia from the Amhara region. OFC had said that Amhara government was backing some forces which were involved in attacks on Oromos inside Oromia. What is Nama saying? Nama says that OFC is accusing Amhara forces of attacks in Oromia. Why isn't OFC condemning Oromo Liberation Army? Oromo Liberation Army is allegedly involved in attacks on Amhara civilians in Horogodoro, in Velega, but OFC is not condemning these attacks on Amhara civilians. Is OLA? Nama asks, is OLA an Amhara group? Why is that OFC is silent? OFC is proposing talks with Oromo Liberation Army. And OLA is allegedly involved in attacks in Oromia, in BG, in Sidama, in SNNPR against civilians. So instead of condemning OLA, OFC is condemning Amhara forces. Why? Nama says that OFC wants to create a common enemy for all Oromo parties and groups in the form of Amhara forces. So the purpose of blaming Amhara forces, Amhara groups is that OFC wants to create unity in Oromia at the expense of blaming Amharas. Interesting assumption of Nama political party. The statement just shows ongoing tensions between Oromos and Amharas, their political elite, their political parties, OFC, Nama, their governments, their armed groups, OLA, Fano. They are in serious disagreements. And we have seen that it has intensified in the past 2 to 3 months. After Tigray conflict started coming to a close, we saw a flare-up of tensions on Oromia-Amhara border. And so far, no signs of any de-escalation so far between Oromo and Amhara political parties, armed groups, and governments as well to some extent. Lastly, viewers, we have a new story from Oromia. Oromo Liberation Army has a secret wing which has started its operations. We know that a military operation involving federal and regional forces against Oromo Liberation Army is underway across Oromia region. OLA is fighting and it has its own strategy. It has its hideouts in mountains, forests. Its units are very mobile. They can easily change locations. And they can mingle with civilians as well. They have civilian support too. And this secret wing of Oromo Liberation Army, it has started its operations. Name of this secret force is Eagle Army. Eagle Army. It is basically an assassination squad, a death squad. which operates at night. It operates mostly in the form of a few or even a single assassin. The target are persons, not infrastructure, not buildings, not camps, persons mostly. Persons means that ENDF top commanders, Oromia regional force, Oromia special force, Oromia militias, their top commanders are targets. And they are being targeted. Reportedly, in some areas, Eagle Army of Oromo Liberation Army, OLA, it has started its operations. Some attacks have been carried out on Oromia government officials and ENDF officials. What we've heard is that some attacks have been carried out in Borayo, Sabata, Sululta, Holuta, and some other areas too. If this conflict goes on, if this operation against Oromo Liberation Army goes on, we could see more attacks from this secret wing of Oromo Liberation Army. We could see assassination attempts on commanders, main figures, part of the operation, part of the government, Oromia regional government. How effective would this strategy be? That remains to be seen. But fighting OLA is going to be a long war, because its way of fighting is unconventional. It's not like a military. It's not a military, obviously. It does not work like a military. It is basically an organization which works like an organization, a group. It works with the support of locals. It has its hideout. It knows where to fight. It can easily change its headquarters, its strongholds. Let's see what happens. We'll keep updating you about the ongoing operation against Oromo Liberation Army. Thank you for watching.